Today we're going to talk about fusions. And this time we're starting with the Potara fusion of Goku and Vegeta, Vegeto. Taking a look at his aura, we just have that base aura, which is this nice blue color, but that is going to get a 2. As for his throw, why do we have the Goku grab here? I understand that Goku is half of this character, but I feel like Vegeto should have a unique grab. Anyway, that's gonna get a 2 also. And then for our skills, we have the Explosive Wave. Nothing special here. And then we have High Tension, which buffs his melee attacks as well as his ki charging rate. I feel like folks would come at me if I outright said this is a bad skill lineup. And I really don't think that it is. I don't love Explosive Wave, especially paired with a buff move. I would much rather have a Vanish type attack or an Insta-Spark, but I don't mind High Tension. So I'm gonna give this skill lineup a 3. And then for our blasts, we have the Big Bang attack. Classic Vegeta technique, and it looks fine. And then we have the Scatter Finger Beam, which was completely removed from Sparking Zero. I actually kind of forgot that this move exists, and I don't mind it. It's like 5 little Dodon rays all going out at the same time. Kind of a classic Vegeto move, too. And then for his ultimate, we have the Super Kamehameha. Not really anything special here either. It's just a Super Kamehameha. All in all, this blast lineup is kind of weird to me. He has a Vegeta move as a blast, a Goku move as an ultimate, and Scatter Finger Beam, while being a Vegeto move, is just shooting 5 beams out of his fingers. It doesn't necessarily scream Vegeto, and I think that's kind of letting it down. So I'm gonna give this blast lineup a 3. However, for his overall aura, there is so much debate about Vegeto versus Gogeta, and at the end of the day, regardless of which one I prefer, Gogeta, by the way, both of these characters are super cool. Vegeto's design is incredible. I love the earrings too. I feel like the Potara earrings themselves are such an iconic part of this look and this fusion, and it's just kinda tough. Plus, the combination of Goku and Vegeta's look is a cool idea in contrast to the Metamoran outfit from Gogeta, and I feel like I could keep saying good things about Vegeto. It's just a goated character. So I'm gonna give his aura a 5. Now it's time for Super Vegeto. And looking at his aura, he actually has the Super Saiyan 2 Plus aura with the zappies and a little bit of darker coloring. So that's gonna get a 4. And then yes, he does have a unique grab. And this is all I was asking for. He crosses his arms and just kicks the shit out of the opponent. This is peak Vegeto energy. He's oozing confidence in this grab. It looks great, the impacts are punchy, and it's full of character. This grab is definitely gonna get a 5. And then for his skills, we have the Finish sign, which for the character makes sense. I get why they chose this, and it gives him a melee and a blast buff, which is nice. And he has After Image Strike, which is very good. Once again, this is basically an auto dodge for most attacks that lasts 15 seconds. So like, it's really good. But there are better skill lineups in the game, so I'm gonna give this one a 4. And then for his blasts, we do see the Super Kamehameha move from the ultimate slot to the blast slot, which is fine. And then we have the Beam Sword Slash Rush. Such an iconic move. He rushes in, punches him into the air, grabs him, flips him over and throws him down, catches the opponent midair with this beam that pierces through them. Then he raises him up and slices through them. This is a classic attack, and just the sound design that's going on here with the beam and the slashies is so good. Very nostalgic. Just a huge fan of this rush. And then for his ultimate attack, we have the final Kamehameha. And this is one of my favorite versions of this attack. I love the yellow energy that's radiating off of them, but then the Kamehameha, while it's being charged up, is blue, creating this really nice contrast during the charge. And then, of course, when they fire it off, it is this big, bright, final flash yellow. I just always loved the wind-up for this attack. I think the attack itself looks great. I do think that this is one of the instances in this game that could have benefited from a little bit of feedback, the opponent getting swallowed by the beam, or just a shot of them getting hit by it, some sort of small cutscene at the end. But it's still really great. I love this blast lineup, and I'm gonna give it a 5. And when we talk about Vegeto's overall aura, I already gave the previous form a 5, so you can probably guess that I'll be giving this form a 5 too. But that was always something that I really liked about Vegeto over Gogeta in my early days of Dragon Ball fandom, that back in the day, we only had Gogeta Z. He didn't have a base form, we didn't have Super Saiyan Blue, and Super Saiyan 4 was his own thing. But Vegeto having base form and Super Saiyan was always so cool to me, especially because they felt different. Base form Vegito does have a combination of Goku and Vegeta moves, but Super Saiyan Vegito has a bunch of unique moves, and that just makes me like this form even more. So I already said it, but I'm gonna give this one a 5. Let's transition from Vegito to Gogeta, starting with Z Gogeta. And starting with his aura, just like Vegito, he has the Super Saiyan 2 Plus aura, which we're gonna give a 4. And for his grab, we have this really great one. In this, he knees them a couple times, and then does this really nice backflip kick that sends them flying away. Again, I just can't say enough good about the impacts in this game. This is just the best any Dragon Ball game has ever sounded. And this grab is going to get a 5. And for his blasts, we have the instant transmission, which is an absolute classic, and I definitely don't mind him having it at all. Just being able to get in really close, lock off the opponent, and it's fairly inexpensive. And then he has Finish Sign, once again providing the fighter a melee and a blast buff. I feel pretty much the same way about this one as I do about Vegito with Finish Sign. It's fine, but I wouldn't mind if something else was here too. So I am going to give this one a 4. But then we got the blasts, and these are good ones. First up, we have the Big Bang Kamehameha, which I always loved the wind-up for, and it's just a classic Gogeta move, the combination of the Big Bang attack and the Kamehameha. It's kind of peak. And then we have a super explosive wave. I'm gonna give the game the benefit of the doubt on this one. Gogeta Z only existed on our screens for roughly 8 minutes. He pretty much showed up and took out the bad guy without much effort. So when it comes down to it, they were working with what they had. And between the Big Bang Kamehameha and his ultimate, I think they did a pretty good job. And the alternative in this slot would have been a generic rush or a volley. So I'm actually okay with the super explosive wave being here, although something more unique would have been nice. But then for his ultimate attack, we have the Stardust Breaker, the move that defines this character. We start this rush off with a heavy knee to the gut, and then we follow up with this really sick first-person shot of these flurried attacks that are then followed up by some really flashy kicks and that nice little backflip returns. And then when he lands, he charges up the attack. This really crazy-looking chromatic orb that he then absorbs and flings at the opponent. It turns into sparkles and they just blow up. This is just such a cinematic attack. It's so good. Everything about it rules. I think I'm gonna give this blast lineup a 5. And as for his overall aura, yeah man, I love this character. I've always loved the Metamoran outfit. I don't know why. Just the vest and the pants, it just looks so mythic. Like when Goku and Vegeta fuse, they're doing something legendary. And it's super sick. He has awesome attacks, he comes in, stands on business, gets the fight done without stalling. It's just peak. And last up for this video, we have Peak Incarnate, Absolute Aura, Infinite Riz. I'm gonna stop. It's Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. And we're seeing this aura again, so that's gonna get a 4. He has the Goku grab. Why not just reuse the Gogeta grab from the previous form? I'm not gonna harp on it too much. Disappointed, but it's gonna get a 2. For his skills, we have the Wild Sense, the classic counterattack vanish move. And finally, an Insta-Spark. It's power up to the very limit, which puts him into max power and gives him a bunch of buffs. I forgot to mention that Ki Sickness exists in this game, which is when you use a max power move, which Sparking Zero conditioned me to call them Insta-Spark. Sorry, I'm gonna keep doing that. When the effects of max power fade, you then get Ki Sickness, which makes it so you charge Ki slower. They removed this in Sparking Zero, and honestly, I think adding it back into the game would work wonders for the balance. It always annoyed me in this game, but as somebody who has played a lot of this game since I was a child, I see its purpose and I wouldn't mind seeing it return. Also, fun fact, if you're a character that can transform and you have Ki Sickness, transforming up or detransforming will clear your Ki Sickness. That's just a little trick for you playing at home. Anyway, this is definitely the best skill lineup of the video. I'm gonna give it a 5. And then for his blasts, we have the Big Bang Kamehameha once again. And I am perfectly happy to see it back. This is an essential Gogeta move, still looks great. It actually might even look better since it's being fired by a Super Saiyan 4. I don't know, maybe that's just me. And then we have Ultimate Impact. And he starts it off with that pose. Are you kidding me? He's so peak. But then he rushes in, kicks the opponent up. Don't think I missed that backflip. He flies up, and just like Z Gogeta, we actually get a first-person shot of the opponent getting attacked again. And I really like this. I wish that they did it more. But then he gets behind them and then just follows up with a couple more super satisfying hits. And that's Ultimate Impact. It's actually quite a long rush, but it's just so good. Getting more time with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is never a bad thing. And you just get to watch him do his thing here. It is so good. And then for his ultimate, we have the times 100 Big Bang Kamehameha. And it is exactly how it sounds. It's just a massive Big Bang Kamehameha. And when I say massive, I mean massive. This thing literally covers half the screen. It's just so heavy. The screen shake, the brightness, everything about this attack is just big. And it's a Big Bang Kamehameha, so yeah, that makes sense. Also, if you're playing on Earth or Namek, it can blow up the planet. So that's always kind of a fun way to end a battle. There's not really anything negative that I can say about this blast lineup. This is absolutely one of my favorites. So I'm gonna give it a 5. And just like every other character we've talked about in this video, it's going to be a 5. But I just want to yap about Gogeta for a minute. Gogeta, the character, is cool. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, even cooler. Like, they absolutely cooked with this design. But the video games is really where this character shines. And BT3 is basically the masterclass. All of his moves are good. All of his characterization is good. The fit is on point. And can we talk about his alternate color palette? This, like, Super Saiyan 5 inspired design? I cannot believe that they didn't give this to us in Sparking Zero. As much as I loved Sparking Zero, it is one of the things that I am legitimately upset about that they missed out on. But yeah, Gogeta, very good. For me, there really isn't anything better than this. So, like I said, it's gonna get a 5. And with that, folks, that is going to bring us to the end of this moveset review. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing and throwing a like my way. I really appreciate it. And hey, I live stream all the time, so if you see that we're live sometime, come say hi. But with that, I have been Gunchpot. This has been a moveset review. Thank you everybody again so much for watching, and of course, as always, goodbye forever.